Hey guys, good morning. My name is Arisa, and I wanted to take a little time to talk to you guys a little bit about the appeal of accomplishment and how it affects our day-to-day choices more than we may think. I watched this video the other day of a YouTube mom, and the caption was like, how to make your child sleep overnight in just one night. And in a desperate situation, that's so appealing that you're going to not think about if they're a doctor or if they have the specific credentials. You're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to take that advice. And it might sound good, but it also may not be true. As a mother to a 3-year-old, I'm in the tantrum stage, and all the time it's just like, anytime a demand is placed, a cry follows up. Anytime something that is undesirable or non-preferred, he goes into a tantrum. And it can be really hard and frustrating if it comes at a constant basis, because you might not know how to handle it, and so you fall into the get-rich-quick schemes. And those are the schemes and plots of the advice of others who lack credentials, also known as the appeal to accomplishment. So specifically, I want to talk about like influencers and people that, are a part of social media. And we could kind of say that they're famous or they have some sort of influence. And sometimes we take their words, and I'm going to explain to you why that is not ideal, especially when you're talking about being a parent. So let's jump right into it. The thesis is the appeal to accomplishment is persuasive technique without proof, but the persuasion is there. So I'll explain the appeal to accomplishment, and then I'll explain how it impairs in parenting advice. All right. So the appeal to accomplishment is the fallacy of someone uses their success to validate an argument rather than providing real evidence. So Dr. David Dunning is a psychologist at Cornell University. He notes that personal success can create confidence, leading others to follow the past success, even if the items are unrelated. So how does this look in the real world of parenting struggles? Like when you're desperate, when you're on a topping block for answers, or you want change at a rapid rate, you're going to go with the thing that appeals to your mind. And if it's someone who you follow or listen to, and an advice completely separate, so for instance, if there's an influencer that you follow for home decor and they put a YouTube video up explaining how they get their child to fall asleep in one night, you'll forget that they're not an MD or a doctor or a child therapist. You'll say, she is successful, so I'll take her advice. And that is misleading, and it can be dangerous, especially to being a parent. So some influencers recommend strategies like offering 2 choices to stop tantrums. And, a doctor, Dr. Harvey Karp, said that it must be adapted to your child's temperament and development stage, not occupied blindly, because it worked for my 3 kids. So essentially, it's saying that it has to be something that is feasible. It has to be something that makes sense. It has to be multiple options, because kids are a spectrum. There's no kid exactly the same from one. And that is great parenting advice, and it's great clinical advice. It just makes sense, So when you're vulnerable and looking for quick wins, how do we tell what's advice and what's a well-branded parenting story? And the way you do that is you spot the fallacy. So if you are looking for advice on children, then you should probably look into the advice of a pediatrician or a child therapist, specific credentials and trainings that validate their thesis. So Dr. Deborah Gilba, a family physician and a parenting expert, recommends parenting as, is this based on real studies, or is someone saying I did it and it worked? So the next time you're scrolling around on midnight, trying to figure out what can I do, and you're stressed and you're going through so much, just look for the answers from the people that have the actual credentials, because that is a fact versus the appeal to accomplishment versus what looks good and what sounds good. So we've learned that the appeal to accomplishment is when someone uses their personal success to persuade without even solid proof. It's commenting in things like parenting advice, especially around toddler behavior, because I think we can all agree that the toddlers in today's age are very, very different with the technical advances. So, as a mom of a 3-year-old, I totally understand we get really desperate for answers by searching the web, by just staying curious and asking questions and remembering that each child is different. It will help us to make better choices, not just emotional choices or chopping block choices. So I would like to conclude by giving this advice. As a parent, you might have to do the hard work, but it's worth it in the end, because people with no credentials giving advice, it's awesome if it works for them, but some things we have to leave to the professionals, and we should not take parenting advice from people because of their accomplishments unless they are child related. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.